Hannah, we both love a good rockumentary, don't we? But isn't it time we gave some recommendations for people who would rather listen to music than binge watch TV shows and films?
Funny you should say that, Ian, because British rapper Fletchy has just released his debut EP, The Colossal Apostle. It includes standout tracks Money Calling, This Is Crazy, and Ooh.
Ooh. And you don't have to just take our word for it. Fletchy has been shouted out by none other than LeBron James, as well as Dwayne Wade and Juicy J. A mix of humour, heartbreak, and hard-hitting beats, The Colossal Apostle is available to stream now.
And to find out more about this up-and-coming artist who is building a fan base on both sides of the Atlantic, follow at Fletchy2Fat, that's Fletchy with a Y, 2, Fat on TikTok and Instagram. Hello and welcome to Bingewatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman & Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwan, writer on TV and Satellite Week, TV Times, What's on TV and WhatToWatch.com. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday the 19th of September 2025, including the stage version of John Cleese's Torquay set sitcom Fawlty Towers on You and Gold, and ITVX thriller Coldwater starring Andrew Lincoln.
And we'll also be joining Rob and Rylan on a passage to India on BBC iPlayer and tuning into a new season of Apple TV drama The Morning Show. But first, Ian, tell me what's in the news.
John Malkovich is joining the cast of Apple TV Plus Florida set comic crime drama Bad Monkey, starring Vince Vaughn, for its second series. What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, David Mitchell, Diane Morgan, Ramesh Ranganathan, Alan Carr, all the greats, and reigning champion Bob Mortar, even greater, will be among the competitors when Prime Video comedy competition Last One Laughing returns. Can't wait.
That is a pretty good lineup. Okay, this week we have, a stage production of a classic sitcom. We've got a new travelogue. We've got a thriller and a returning drama. But we start on the streaming platform You with Fawlty Towers, the play. And here's a clip.
Basil?
Yes, dear?
Oh, no. Who saw them? Basil!
Yes, dear?
Could you come and attend to a gentleman over here, dear? 19.
What, you mean over where you are, dear?
Well, the last one was only 22. He was.
Actually, I'm quite busy over here, dear. Are you very busy over there?
I'm on the telephone, Basil.
It's 50 years ago that the BBC aired the first episode of Fawlty Towers, Hannah. Yes, the sitcom, co-written by and starring John Cleese as irascible Torquay hotelier Basil Fawlty, alongside Prunella Scales as his wife Sybil and Andrew Sachs as confused Spanish waiter Manuel. Well, it is, and it's the reason You and Gold are showing the stage version, which John Cleese adapted it for the stage, and he based it on 3 classic episodes. So one, of course, the Germans, Don't Mention the War, the Hotel Inspectors, which Bernard Cribbins memorably was in, and another one called Communication Problems, which featured Mrs. Richards, the hard of hearing guest who didn't like using up the batteries on her hearing aid. So it's the original West End cast. Adam Jackson Smith plays Basil. Anna Jane Casey plays Sybil. Hemi Yeroem is Manuel. I mean, Fawlty Towers has repeatedly been voted the best ever British sitcom. And the scripts stand up so well. I mean, I sort of thought, do I really need to watch this? Because I've seen those episodes countless times. You know, I'm sure most people have. But they still work. And it's brilliantly cast, because I have to say, you'd think, well, who can step into John Cleese's shoes, especially as Basil? And Adam Jackson Smith does it superbly. Now, there's also a bit of a surprise. Paul Nicholas, course, he was a bit of a heartthrob back in the day, wasn't he? He was in a sitcom called Just Good Friends. He was also a pop star. He's done quite a lot of musical theatre. Well, he's now playing the Major, would you believe it? He's one of the long-term residents at Fawlty Towers. So yeah, it's really well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's still so funny. It's just a classic farce, beautifully constructed, and the way they've combined the episodes works very effectively. And there's also a little bit of a surprise right at the end, which I'm not going to spoil for you. Hannah, did you enjoy this?
Yes, I did actually, and I didn't think I would because I recognise how popular this was, and I recognise that I am in the minority when I say this, but I didn't actually love it first time round.
What?
Which it is. I know. I'm the same with Blackadder. You know my feelings about Blackadder. The same sort of thing for me. But I know. I've said it. I've said it out loud now. There's no going back. However, I can see that I am in the minority, and I can see the brilliance of it. It just doesn't tickle me in quite the same way as it might someone else. But it's quite a brave thing to do, I think, something like this. And trying to step into the shoes of John Cleese is pretty tricky too. I met him the other day, actually. And
Was he very angry?
He wasn't particularly angry, but he was quite... He says what he thinks.
He certainly does.
He's relatively direct.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that if you like Fawlty Towers, you're going to like this. But I do think they were brave to do it. But they've done it incredibly well. Very true to what it originally was. And if you liked it first time round, you'll certainly like what they've done here.
Yeah, and of course Eric Idle did Spam-A-Lot, didn't he? Based on sort of elements of the Holy Grail, and now Cleese is working on a stage version of Life of Brian. So yeah. Now, next up, we're moving across to Apple TV Plus for the 4th season of the drama that, well, effectively launched that streaming platform. It's The Morning Show. And here's a clip.
I'm a firm believer in second chances. Maybe this is an opportunity to make it right.
Sick of all these people talking.
This is a reset. A different company. A different culture.
Tired of all these cameras flashing.
We promised real change.
Yes. Now, I'm a bit of a fan of Jennifer Aniston, and I wasn't quite sure when I first watched this. As I say, this is season 4, isn't it? I wasn't quite sure how I'd find it, really, because she's known for her role as Rachel in Friends, isn't she? She's done various other things, but always she's kind of stereotyped. But in this, she's really quite different, and I think that the proof is in the pudding. The fact that it has been commissioned again. We've got Reese Witherspoon as well, who's brilliant, and we saw her in the last series sort of walking away from it all after admitting some wrongdoings and kind of leaving the industry. And we're back with a bang with this one, really. It's really moved on. If you watch season 1, and have watched them all, they've really kind of, I think, massively moved on. Now, it's all relatively uncredible in places. It's not exactly very likely, some of the stuff, but this particular season, from what I've seen of it so far, is really quite dramatic. It's quite punchy. There's so many duplicitous people in one room, and these they've gone into sort of new technology. They've looked at deep fake videos of certain people that could threaten their career. There's the love lives of different people all intertwined with each other. It's a ruthless new board. And in some ways, I like the fact that it's mirroring to a degree, albeit some of these storylines, as I say, aren't very credible and are a bit sort of over the top. I love the fact that it kind of mirrors real life, because we're seeing, aren't we, in real time, daytime TV merging to a degree, shows. We're seeing that with ITV at the moment. And this is NBN coming together with UBA to form UBN. So by doing that, you've got new people. Some people will get bigger seats at the throne. Other people will get lost along the way. So already you've got a lot of kind of angst and ego ready to fight. And I think you really feel it actually in there. You can really see it. The bit that I think is really interesting, and we talk about this a lot, probably because I work in the women's lifestyle portfolio, but we talk about women lifting each other up, you know, the idea of empowering other women. And it's actually not always that common. Women sort of tend to pit against each other, particularly in the workplace, I think, which is really sad. And you really see it here. My goodness, do you see it here? The storylines often are better than what the news that they're pumping out, frankly. You'd rather see the scandal on the shop floor than you would what they're actually showing. And I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far, and I really did think this might be a bit of a one-trick pony when I saw it the first time around, the season 1. Then I went to season 2, season 3. I thought, hang on a minute, is this kind of, have we had enough here? But I think they've done a really good job of moving with the times, as I say, dealing with AI, which is a really big thing in the industry, and those deep fake videos that kind of threaten to ruin Alex's career. If you liked the rest of them, you're going to like this. Ian, what did you think?
Yeah, it's high quality, isn't it? It's 10 episodes, but they're released weekly, so you can't binge your way through it. But I haven't followed it all the way through the first 3 seasons, but I picked up the gist pretty quickly. And yeah, as you say, I mean, what a cast. Aniston, Witherspoon, you've got John Hamm, you've got Marion Cotillard, and my favourite, Billy Crudup. So yeah, it's got, I mean, I think to some extent, I think if you work in the media, you're kind of less likely to want to watch series about the media. So it's not necessarily the sort of thing I would be drawn to, seeing as I sort of work connected to TV shows. But it's really well done. And they've got, it starts off with some good storylines. So there's, it's the Olympics are coming up, and Aniston's character is going to be working as a sort of anchor. There's also a storyline about AI taking all our jobs, which we certainly need to be aware of, Hannah. But so she's interviewing a fencer who is coming to the Olympics, but actually secretly her father slips Alex a note saying, "We want to defect." So there's that storyline. John Hamm will be back as Alex's ex-lover, a billionaire, Paul Marks. Reese Witherspoon, the ex-presenter, so she starts getting these messages about a cover-up, okay, and she's going to go back to work on the morning show, but yeah, she's going to be is she going to be working on this new story? Who knows? And meanwhile, Crudup's character, Corey, who was the CEO, I really like him, and he is failing to make it in Hollywood, which is quite amusing. So yeah, it's quality TV. The script is great, so there's a very amusing moment where Crudup wanted to do some filming outside, and he looks out the window and there's all this sort of orange smoke because of the climate conditions, and he says, "Don't tell me they elected Trump as Pope." So it's very witty, it's very well written, it's well performed. So yeah, welcome back. Next up, a new ITVX thriller starring Andrew Lincoln and an Indian odyssey for Robin Rylan on iPlayer, right after this. Over on ITVX, we have a new drama called Coldwater. And here's a clip.
John, why did you come here?
To Scotland. We decided it was time for a change.
The neighbours have invited us over for dinner.
Big smiles. We're a normal family and we're delighted to see them.
I like Tommy.
It makes my skin crawl.
So you may well have caught the first 2 eps of this week. Good to see Andrew Lincoln back, isn't it? He's not been on British TV for quite some time, since he went off to play Rick Grimes in the never-ending zombie drama The Walking Dead over in America. But to me, he'll always be Egg in This Life, which was the sort of show that broke him, about some young barristers sharing a house. Anyway, so yeah, he plays John, who is a husband and father. Is a six-parter, by the way, and you can get it all on ITVX. And he lives in London, and there's this sort of altercation in the playground with a rather violent parent, which he basically walks away from or runs away from. So this is a traumatic event for him, and as a result of that, we gather his wife Fiona, played by the wonderful Indira Varma, move to the Scottish town of Coldwater. So they're looking for a fresh start. There's trouble in the marriage. Anyway, they get invited to dinner by their new neighbours. And Tommy is played by Ewan Bremner, who I guess he's best known for Train Spotting, really, isn't he? And he is wonderfully creepy in this. So Tommy's wife Rebecca is played by Eve Miles. She's the local preacher, but she seems like quite a character and quite a free spirit. So she seems fairly approachable. Whereas Tommy is quite weird, and like on the evening that they go around for dinner, he managed to get John to pray with him, which is like alarm bells, red flag. Anyway, so I'm not going to spoil the surprises, but yeah, there's going to be an incident, and that's going to kind of bind Tommy and John together, which might be something that John lives to regret. I'll say that. It's been described, in fact, by Eve Miles as a Scottish version of Twin Peaks or Fargo. I don't think I'd agree with that. But I really enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed Ewan Bremner. He is just fantastic in this. And yeah, it's a good, creepy thriller. There was a plot point where I thought, which is a very vital plot point, where I thought, I don't believe he would have made that decision. I'll let you realise what that is for yourselves. But yeah, I thought it was great fun. I love this sort of thing. It's terrific. And looking forward to seeing John getting deeper and deeper into trouble. What did you think, Hannah?
Zombie dramas is what we've obviously known Andrew Lincoln for previously, and it's so great to see Andrew Lincoln back, isn't it? As you say, I mean, I really enjoy everything pretty much he's been in, and that says a lot for a zombie drama because you know how I feel about them. But this is a really different character, and it's really different, is what I would say. I thought it was really different. It's dark, it's quite mysterious, and it's a different sort of approach to a bloke, I suppose. You know, he's quite a kind of a repressed guy and quite sort of sad and lonely, and you sort of see a different side, and we're so often not exposed to that, I think. And I think that's a really interesting take on somebody, actually, because we don't usually see that. We see the men playing the big guy, don't we, and the strong guy and all the rest of it. So I think this is a bit different and probably makes Andrew Lincoln dig quite deep. So for me, it was just something that bit different and really nice to see him back on our screens. Really, I definitely will stick with this, though. I think it's something that a lot of people will enjoy, but I go back to the same thing that I always say. You need to sit down and watch this. You can't do something else at the same time. I think this is quite, it's pretty captivating.
We're going to finish on BBC iPlayer with a new travelogue called Rob and Rylan's Passage to India. And here's a clip.
It's so romantic. I feel like I want to propose.
Don't.
Okay.
We're in India.
It's India. It's a land of excess.
Wow.
Look at the detail.
Oliver, come on!
There was definitely a little bit of underlying sexual tension between us. Maybe one-sided.
You come getting down there with Coldwater.
Well, of course, we've seen these two before, haven't we? Before with their grand tour, and actually the beauty of this is their relationship, because they are great friends. In fact, there were many a headline of the idea that the two of them might even be together, which of course is absolutely not true, because Rylan has embarked on a lovely new relationship and is incredibly happy. But I digress. I think the chemistry between these two is absolutely fantastic and 100% makes it. And also the fact of how different they are. So for one, you're taking Rylan completely out of his comfort zone. He has never, ever been to India before. And then you've got Rob Rinder, who has travelled to India before, who is slightly wider travelled person and is completely interested in absolutely everything and taking Rylan along for the journey. So Rylan is, I mean, what you see is what you get with Rylan. He's so incredibly honest about his feelings and his worries and his concerns. And I was reading an interview and he was saying he was worried about getting Delhi belly and he was worried it was going to be too hot and he had all these concerns. And then he got there and got bitten by a mosquito and it sort of went up like a huge golf ball. So this is that following them and seeing them do various different things, including puppetry. They do a rap performance. Yeah, that actually happens. And not so unusual for, say, Rylan, who, of course, made his entrance to the celebrity world via a reality singing show, but probably a bit different for Rob Rinder. They speak to and deal with a billionaire art collector. It's really cultured, but in a way that's very obtainable, I think. And I think that's what's really important with this, is that we all love travel shows. We all love seeing different places. We all love seeing places that we might want to go to. But yes, it's usually done. Well, actually, no, to be fair, the Joanna Lumley ones are absolutely amazing. They're brilliant. But sometimes they feel that little bit unobtainable. And they also aren't necessarily particularly honest with some of the fears that some people have by going further afield. And Rylan absolutely gets that, and he deals with that, and he makes it very, very real, very sort of boy next door, girl next door vibes. And their chemistry, as I say, is what makes this absolutely work, apart from the fact that you get a beautiful backdrop and learn loads too. And I now want to go and visit India. What do you think, Ian?
Well, as you know, previously, Rylan and Rob have both been kind of TV kryptonite for me. I have not been a fan, but I'm a complete convert, I must say. Having watched episode 1 of this, I thought it was terrific. And yeah, as you say, the chemistry is great. And I mean, they're two guys who came from quite humble backgrounds. Although Rob sounds very posh and is very cultured, he had quite a tough start in life, as did Rylan. And so they bring very different things. But there's clearly a lot of affection between them, and it's a bit of a different take on India, because usually they're like plonking people in front of the Taj Mahal and that kind of thing, aren't they? But they do some interesting things, as you say. They go inside a sort of billionaire's house, which is just full of artworks, and they do some rapping on the street with this guy, a musician who. He's in the lowest caste in India, and so they learn a bit about the caste system. And I've got to say, they're pretty good at the rapping. So yeah, all the episodes are on iPlayer. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very varied. I mean, as you say, this community of puppeteers that they go and put on a show with. I think a lot of it is stuff you will not have seen before. But I mean, even though there have been countless travelogues about India, and like you, having watched this, I thought, yeah, I really want to go, actually. So I'm a total convert to Rob and Rylan. Great job, guys. Now we've got to that time, young Hannah, my lad, where we find out what the hell you've been binge watching.
Well, I continued to watch, we reviewed it last week, the Freddie Flintoff Field of Dreams, and I continued to watch it with the Famalam, and do you know what? I really enjoy it. I particularly love the girls in that group who are just so angsty and passag the whole time and get really grumpy. He just doesn't rise to it at all, does he? He just sort of seems to wash over him because they're all hating on each other and they're not going to build a raft. And I hate that. It's just going to go and sort of, it's just, I don't know, all the equilibrium is kind of restored by the end. But it's really good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Well, Taskmaster is back, of course, with one of my favourites, Reece Shearsmith. So I've been watching that. But I found an absolute nugget for you on Netflix, Hannah. A new series called AKA Charlie Sheen, in which the great man himself talks about his rather eventful life career. And I think unapologetic is the word I would use to describe his contribution. But yeah, it's gripping stuff. You've got to watch it. And it's got his ex-wife Denise Richards is in it, and she's telling it like it is. Well, we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offering. So, what's on the binge watch menu, Hannah?
Well, Mae Martin and Toni Collette star in Wayward, which is a Netflix thriller about a Vermont school for troubled teens.
And David Tennant and Toby Jones headline in a new ITVX drama about the News of the World phone hacking scandal. Yes. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, dear listeners,
Watching!